Good morning, I'm James Lopez, President at HomeFi Corporation, and this is today's mortgage market update. Now, the CPI inflation index report came out today, and that report showed exactly what was expected. Inflation rose year over year, about 7.9%, and the core inflation reading, which strips out food and energy prices, rose about 6.4%. That's exactly what we expected, and as such, there's some downward pressure on the bonds today. Bonds opened a little bit lower today, and they've continued to sunk throughout the morning trading session. They're lower about 34 basis points as of the time of recording, mortgage bonds are. And so we could see some repricing that happens throughout the day today, just depending on how that news continues to disseminate through the markets. Also, stocks are lower today on kind of the disintegration of talks that was happening between Ukraine and Russia, possibly ceasefire talks. Those talks kind of didn't really get anywhere, and so stocks are a little bit lower today. Now, back on the inflation note, one thing to pay attention to is that the inflation costs don't include, or the inflation report doesn't include, the rising costs of oil and commodities as a result of the Ukrainian-Russian conflict. And so those numbers will be baked into the report next month, but they don't get baked into the report this month. And so while we were kind of thinking we may be hitting the peak of inflation, all of a sudden, this conflict has broken out and destabilized global markets, caused commodities and oil prices to rise. So we could still see some inflation numbers going up, more so than what we thought were going to go up. That's going to continue to put downward pressure on bonds. So we're kind of expecting to see continuing in this rising rate environment over the next weeks, months. We'll just see how it all plays out. Now, in other news, the initial jobless claims report came out today. There's 227,000 jobless claims that were reported in that report. A little higher than expected, but still pretty strong. So the job market's pretty strong. But one thing that's really interesting, some news that came out today from CoreLogic, and it's the appreciation index. Homeowner appreciation rose by 30%. On average, that means the average homeowner had $55,000 worth of equity go up in their house. And that's a huge number, and that's great. It shows really that the housing market is very, very strong. There's a lot of demand. Everybody knows a lot of demand in the housing market. Not a ton of inventory, which is kind of an issue. And what that's also doing is it's making rents higher than a mortgage would be. So if it costs more to rent a house right now in a lot of places than it does to have a mortgage, and part of that's because of an inventory shortage. But we have a healthy housing market, and one thing that we can think of is that you've got equity in your home. That means there's going to be a lot of homes like FHA home buyers that could possibly get out of their mortgage insurance premium, get rid of the mortgage insurance premium from the FHA by doing a refinance. Or there could be some buyers that have equity in their home and need to do some debt consolidation. There's still opportunities to do refinances in this rising rate market environment because of appreciation in homes. All right. Another thing that we've talked about several times is we've had several customers take equity out of their primary residence and buy an investment property, just because they've got that extra equity, and so they want to reinvest that cash. Listen, appreciate your time. Thanks for watching today. Hope you have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.